Traded my Jeep Gladiator, but did I trade ride quality? And a little mod. Well, good morning, everybody. How are you today? Pretty good here. So I traded off my Gobi Jeep Gladiator for this brilliant white Jeep Gladiator. But did I give up any ride quality in doing that? In other words, is there any difference between the two? We're also going to do just a little tiny mod here at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. So anyway, what I've got here, this is a 2020 brilliant white Jeep Gladiator. The one I traded was a 2020 Gobi Jeep Gladiator. They were identical, except for my Gobi Gladiator, that's a little hard to say, had the tow package on it. So it had the tow hitch, the receiver, welded on in the rear. And that's the reason I didn't switch it, is because it is welded on. I couldn't just unbolt it and put it on this truck. I did look at doing that. But is there any difference between the two, Has Jeep been consistent in creating two identical copies of the same truck, except for the color? Well, that was a concern I had in contemplating doing this. I didn't have to do it. It was just a way for me to maybe get out of another truck that had that little auto stop problem. And then a new color, a blank canvas, something to do more for the channel on. But in the back of my mind, it did cross my mind that, I liked the ride of the Gobi Gladiator that I had, right? I've talked about that on the channel. Nice and smooth, took the bumps well, just kind of like a luxury SUV. Kind of had that feeling to me. I always had kind of a glidey feeling in driving it around. So I switched them out. And I gotta say, I am very happy. I think if you were to blindfold me and I was still able to drive, don't try that at home. I wouldn't notice any difference. I will say that I did change the tires, the wheels and tires, from what was on this truck to what identically was on my other truck. In other words, it's the same wheel and tire setup that I had before. So it is comparing apples to apples as far as that goes. The only difference is an exact copy switched. So kudos to Jeep. They've done a good job, at least with my two truck example, in that they are identical in the way that they feel. The ride quality is the same. The seats feel the same. And I'm very, very happy with that. Would have been pretty disappointing for me had I swapped them out and then been uncomfortable or not satisfied with the ride quality of this Jeep. So awesome. I love it. No difference as far as that goes. Really, for me, excluding that tow receiver in the back, I have the same identical truck except in brilliant white. Now, we're going to head on home because I do have my first little tiny mod I'm going to do, although it might make a big difference in the color scheme of the truck. Stay tuned. Okay, we are back at home. It's time for that little tiny mod I'm going to do right now, although it may have a pretty decent impact, especially on this brilliant white canvas. What I'm talking about is going to match up with the tow hooks here on the front. You notice I have this green. It's a spruce green. And I recently pulled off the side badge, the trail rated badge. We're going to go ahead and get that thing put on. And we're going to see what it looks like. I have it sitting over here. You guys will be able to see it right there. It is, again, spruce green. This is the paint that I used, in case anybody is interested in recreating it. I did save the adhesive from the back. I just put some wax paper over it to try to preserve it. So you can see it actually was pretty well intact when I pulled it off. So we're going to try to reuse that. To clean it up, just going to use a little rubbing alcohol, let it dry a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead, press this on for about 30 seconds or so. Hopefully get it oriented properly so it doesn't look like that. I'm shooting more for something, like that. So let me get you set up. I'll show you how to put it on. Got everything over here. This is not a complicated procedure by any means, but nonetheless, thought I'd show you how to do it just to show you how easy it really is. It has been raining outside, so I did wipe this area down. I'm going to wipe it just a little bit more. Make sure I've got everything off of there because I do want good adhesion. Looks like we have a little bit of adhesive left there. There, I think that's pretty darn good. Then, as I mentioned, we're going to take our rubbing alcohol. Go ahead and just wipe that area down again to get any oils or grease or whatever might be on there off. Even that little bit of black adhesive that was left there comes off with this. So make sure I get it good and saturated. Well, not saturated. I don't want it sitting on there, of course, but I do want it nice and clean. Okay, that's all there is to that. Not too complicated. So we're going to let that dry for just a sec. Rubbing alcohol, of course, dries really quickly anyway, but just to be sure, we're going to add that extra little fanning here, you know, get it nice and dried off. There we go. Now, we just need the badge. I've had this drying for several days, so it should be nice and dry now so that when I push on it, I don't leave anything funky in it. It's going to go on there just like that. I'm digging the look already, I got to admit. So let's see if my wax paper idea was a good idea. You can see some of the wax paper did actually come off. That's no good. But there's enough exposed area, I think we're going to be okay. So now, the key is to get it in there straight and within the hole equally. So kind of a two-prong procedure here, really. Hopefully I get it right, because once I get it on, I really don't want to have to pull it off, like right there. Take a look at how it looks. I think that's pretty good. So now I'm just going to put a little bit of equal pressure on it here for about 30 seconds or so, and hopefully get some good adhesion there, and then we'll come back on and I'll show you what it looks like done. Okay, got it all done. You guys can see, I think it came out straight, hopefully. There it is. I do like it on there, and strangely, I do think it goes good with the white. Of course, it's white. Most any color is going to go good with white. Now, the other thing is comparing it, of course, to the existing hooks. You can see both at the same time. This green and that green are the same. So I don't think there's any issues there, obviously. It matches, and I think it's kind of cool. A little splash of color on there. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of my little color addition to the Gladiator. I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, if you're interested, I have two other channels. The first is Rob Motive, all about my 2020 Toyota Tacoma. And the second is Rob Motive Civic, all about my experiences with the Honda Civic Type R and the Honda Civic Sport Hatchback. Check them out. If you're interested, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.